only one reality.
is objective. Let me ask you this: do angels exist?
Listen, you've been
No, no.
asking me
Do
questions.
angels exist?
Hashim,
I'm asking. I'm trying to test your knowledge about this,
Hashim, this is not
about
the
this reality. Do angels exist?
كن سعيدا كن فريدا عش بفخر في الحياة لا
Because
تبالي
I've spoken to Hashim before, I've spoken to Mansour before. I think we've exchanged enough, but I want you to speak to me as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I want the interaction.
Oh, no,
here,
of course,
right?
of course.
So don't go anywhere and please participate. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So all I'm asking is, how do you know that the Quran is the word of God?
Okay.
Okay.
So
And he said, let me just give you the
Yes,
background.
yes, of course.
He said he claims. Okay, that's fine. It claims. However, that doesn't show that it is
yeah,
from God.
it's a circular argument.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now I want to know more. How do you actually know for certain that it is from God? Now before you answer, do you have any more to say?
I gave you the context.
Yeah.
Our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he went to Khadija radiallahu anhu, and they talked about it, and he claimed himself that it was revealed to me.
Okay, how do you
That's
know
what
these
I
things?
know.
How do you know these things?
I mean, look.
And brother is more knowledgeable.
At the end of the day, yes, we all can claim that our books are from God. Yes, you can claim the Bible is from God. Okay, the Jews can claim the Torah is from God. Muslims claim that the Quran is from God. One thing you should acknowledge is that there are quite a few similarities in the three religions. Yeah, the Abrahamic faith.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Now, if the book is something like a completely different book, then you as a believer in Christianity or someone else in Judaism will say, no, this is completely disagrees with everything that we believe in. Yes? So first let us establish what is common between us. Yes? That we all believe that there is one God. Yes? We all believe that God created the earth and the heavens in 6 days. We all believe that, and when I say 6 days, I don't mean 6 24-hour days. Okay, that's another topic altogether.
Sorry, let me just stop you there because I understand where you're going, but I think you already missed one thing. Because all I'm saying is, before we have that conversation,
Yeah.
which we can have, before we have that conversation, or any conversation at all, we need to have a foundation for knowledge. Because if our worldviews, we have different worldviews.
Yeah.
If our worldviews cannot account for knowledge, there is no point in carrying on. Even if I say, oh, I believe that, God made the world in 6 days. Well, that's just a belief. It's not a knowledge claim. You understand? Because I don't have any foundation.
So what do you mean by knowledge? In what sense do you mean knowledge?
As a definition, justified true belief.
Say again?
Justified true belief. So it's
Okay, let's
I can
define true
explain
belief
that.
then.
Yeah,
What is your criteria?
Belief would be acceptance of something as true. So whatever we
Yeah, but what
accept
would be
as
your
true-
criteria for that?
For what?
To recognize the true belief. What would be your
Knowledge,
criteria?
Exactly. That's what I'm asking you.
Okay, so it's not about the Quran itself, it's about the true belief
Yeah, so the
itself.
question before that one,
And that would apply to anyone, regardless of
anyone,
a Muslim,
anyone,
non-Muslim.
Anyone. The question is, how do you know anything to be true?
Yes.
How do you know?
Yes.
Right?
So
it's
first,
epistemology.
the first thing that you need to establish is that it is something that is non-contradictory. Do you believe?
Yeah, I believe
It has to
that.
be non-contradictory.
Yeah, okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Second, it has to be something that makes at least sense. It is not something that is completely outrageous in the sense that,
I would agree, although some people would disagree. Because,
well, we're talking about believers. Okay?
see what I'm saying?
No, look, that's fine. He's coming back, he's not running away. And we all are here to learn. So even if you did run away right now, I wouldn't hold that against you. Because at the end of the day, we are here to learn from each other, not to put someone down or show them in a bad light or show them that they're really great or something. That is not something that we are here to waste our time. Yes, we come on Sundays voluntarily to basically learn and understand and improve ourselves in a way. Okay? So yeah, about the truth, like I said, the truth itself is subjective to everyone. So
Truth
what?
is subjective?
Yeah, of course. Every truth, for example, what might be truth to you, yes,
So you believe in relativism?
there's something called objective truth, yes, which is not subjective, I understand. But then there is truth which can be subjective. Yes? For example, if I told you, yes, that that there is that the grass is green, yes, To us, that is something that we can observe, and that can be an objective truth. Yes.
Okay, so
Anyone,
how do you
whether
define
you're a
truth?
believer in
Sorry,
God.
sorry. Let's have more of an interaction here.
Yeah.
How do you define truth then?
But that's what I'm saying. There's two truths. For example, there's an objective truth.
What is it? What is it?
I just gave you the example of the grass.
No.
Which
no
you can
example.
observe.
No example. How do you define truth? What's the definition? Because when you say there's an objective truth, a subjective truth.
Yes.
What is it? What's truth?
It is something that you cannot deny.
Okay, let me give you.
Is that good enough for you?
I'll give you what I
Okay, go
believe
on.
truth is, and
Yeah.
then we'll see if we agree. To see if
Fair
it's
enough, go on.
easier, yeah? So, I believe that truth. I have what's called the correspondence theory of truth. So, truth is whatever's real. Okay, truth is whatever corresponds to reality. No matter what beliefs we have, there is an objective reality, and truth is whatever corresponds to that.
What do you mean by objective reality?
Whatever God perceives to be real.
You see, you brought God in immediately.
Yeah, because I'm.
So before you even
I'll
discuss
tell you
the
why,
truth,
I'll tell you
you
why.
already brought God in.
Yeah, I'll tell you why.
Okay, go on.
And that's my argument.
Because earlier you told me not to mention what is in the Quran.
No, I didn't tell you that. No. I would never tell
No,
you
you
that.
told that
No,
gentleman
I would
earlier.
not tell you that.
Do not tell me what's in the Quran, because the Quran, if the Quran claims it's from God, then that shouldn't be a criteria. You told him.
No. I didn't say the problem is because the Quran says.
Okay.
What I said is because it's just a claim. I can claim the same. It's not because the Quran says. Because if you ask me, and I'll give you my epistemology, you'll understand why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Okay, go on.
Before I
Go
get
on.
there,
Yeah.
my claim, and this is to anyone, Muslims, atheists, whatever, okay, is that God, the existence of God, is a necessary precondition for truth and knowledge. The existence of God, okay? So if you don't start with God, you can't have truth. And that's what we were reaching. Because now we know, how do you know it's real? What does that mean? Correct?
Okay.
And I'm saying reality is whatever corresponds to the mind of God. Because he's the
Mind of God.
Yes. Whatever God perceives to be real.
How would you
is
know
the
that?
Reality. Pardon?
How do you know what God perceives?
I'll give you my epistemology. In a
No.
second.
Give me an understanding of God's mind. Do you know God's
Through
mind?
through his revelation, of course.
No, that wasn't my question. Revelation is not God's mind.
No.
Revelation only consists of a subset of the knowledge of God. Even I, as a Muslim, will tell you that the Quran is not all the knowledge of God.
Where is the knowledge of God?
Knowledge of God is with God.
Is in his mind, correct?
Yeah, but do you know it? That's the question.
Sorry?
Do you know God's mind?
Yes, through his revelation, of course.
But wait. His revelation is only a small fraction
Of what?
of the knowledge of God.
Of the knowledge. Thank you. So
Okay,
that's what I'm
so
saying.
you agree that you don't know everything God knows?
No, of course.
Okay,
Of
so
course.
we cannot know the mind of God.
No. But
Good.
wait. Hang on a
Carry
second.
on,
Obviously, I agree that I don't know everything that God knows, but I know some things because He reveals.
Which He has revealed to you.
Of course.
Good.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to get to when asking you, how do you know that the Quran is the word of God? Yes. Now.
So you see,
First of all.
wait. I think you have jumped too many.
That's why I want to go back. That's why I
You
want to go
fast
back.
forwarded to.
Let me
So
go back, let me go
when
back,
you
let me
ask
go
the
back.
question, what is the truth?
Yeah.
You immediately jump to belief in God. Obviously, you're.
Not belief.
My friend, let me finish. I'll use the words I like.
Finish.
I like the word belief. There's nothing wrong with it.
There
Belief
is,
in
there
God.
is, there is.
Belief in God. If you want to accept God, that's fine. I'm okay with that as well.
It's not belief.
So, accept God? Is that good for you?
Knowledge.
Knowledge of God? Okay, knowledge of God, no problem. So you see, since you're not an atheist and I'm not an atheist,
Yeah.
I'm not going to take you through that passage of does God exist or not? Because we as believers in God,
Everyone knows God exists.
no, not everyone. The
Everyone does.
atheists do not believe God exists. Otherwise,
How
they
do
wouldn't
you-
be atheists.
How do you know that the atheists don't know that God
Because
exists?
the definition of atheist is what?
It's the non-God. But tell me, how do you know?
No. What is the definition of atheist?
Well, it's A means not theist.
I didn't ask you the literal definition.
Okay, you
Sorry,
tell
the
me
literal
that.
meaning.
You tell me
An
what it is.
atheist, by definition, is someone who doesn't believe God exists.
Okay, how do you know that?
That's what the dictionary definition is.
Okay, how do you know that definition is correct?
Do you want to really go into the nitty gritty of
I
how?
want to know your basis.
Can
to
I
know
answer?
that.
Can I answer? You asked me a
I
question.
haven't asked.
No, but you asked me. How do you know this is the definition? I'm answering that question.
No. The question is this.
Why ask me that if you
The
don't want me to
question
answer?
is this. How do you know anything to be true? Okay, this was the question.
Yes,
Okay?
and that is what
Now, hang on a second.
Yeah,
Let
go
me
on.
finish. Now, you said there is relative truth and objective truth. And I asked you, what is truth? You didn't have an answer.
You didn't give
And
me the
so I
chance to
tried
finish.
Yes, I did. Yes,
No,
I
you
did.
didn't.
Yes,
You
I
jumped
did.
into the belief
If it's
in
on
God.
camera- if it's on camera, then
Yes.
you'll see. You'll
Okay.
see back.
So what
When
did
you
I
get
say?
home- When you get home, check it out.
What did I say?
I'm saying this. I'm saying this. The definition of truth, to see if we agree, is whatever corresponds to reality.
No.
Do you agree with that or not?
No. You told me the mind of God. Remember?
Before that, what did I say?
Yes. To
Check
reality.
the camera. whatever corresponds
But
to
isn't,
reality.
isn't reality
I'm
itself?
going to ask you again. I'm going to ask you again. Is truth whatever corresponds to reality?
What happened to your calm nature?
Because you've been shouting a lot, so I need to
No,
shout.
no, 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 no. You have,
I'm very calm. I'm very
you-
relaxed.
No, it doesn't seem like you.
It's just
You
not
somehow touch your heart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What will that prove?
Touch my heart.
That you're
It's
that you're
not high.
alive.
It's not high. It's
Yes,
not
you're
high.
alive. Don't worry. You wouldn't be speaking otherwise. So let me tell you this.
Go ahead.
When you say truth is something that is reality, yes. First and foremost, reality itself. Do you believe is relative?
No, of course not.
No?
It's objective.
It's subjective, right?
No, objective.
Also,
Reality is
every
objective.
so every reality
There's only one reality.
is objective. Let me ask you this: do angels exist?
Listen, you've been
No, no.
asking me
Do
questions.
angels exist?
Ashim,
I'm asking. I'm trying to test your knowledge about this
Ashim, this is not
about
a
this
test.
reality. Do angels exist?
Ashim, this is
Miguel,
this is not a
are you going to answer the question?
no, I'm not. This is not
You
a
see,
test.
you can't answer the question.
This is not
Just
a
like you told me I can't answer about
Very
reality.
simple. This is very simple. I'm asking you
Yes.
about your foundation for knowledge. You haven't provided anything. I'm still waiting. How do you know anything to be true? First, before you answer that, what is truth? What is it? Because
We're going back to where we started.
Apparently, you have a problem with my definition of truth being
I
whatever
do,
corresponds to reality.
I do.
Okay, what is
And
the
that's why I'm
problem?
testing that.
No, you don't
But you don't
test
want to be tested.
I want you
You
to
just
tell
want me to accept it, isn't it?
No. I want you to tell me.
Are you going to respond to my question then?
No, I want you to respond to mine.
What is your
truth?
question?
What is truth?
Hold on. When you asked me this question about what is truth,
Yes.
and you answered whatever is the reality, yes?
That was my answer. I want to
Miguel,
know
can I
yours.
finish a sentence without interrupting?
Okay, I apologize. Please finish.
Okay. So your response was, whatever is the reality. Now, I want to question that stance of yours. Can I do that?
Can I talk now?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Now
But
you,
you
asked me
have
a
to
question.
answer- yes,
You asked
answer
me a
the question.
I don't have to answer your question.
Why?
Because my question was first to you and not yours to me.
This is
So
kindergarten
can I finish
stuff,
my
you know?
sentence?
Yeah, you
I
can.
finish? Okay, my sentence was, how do you know what is truth, anything to be true, and what is truth? Now, you've asked me, and you've been challenging my claim of what truth is. That's fine, but we leave that to after you answer your question.
Why?
My question.
Why?
Because you haven't told me what's true. So if you don't know what truth is...
But you have told me, right?
One second. If you don't know what truth is, whatever I tell you truth is, you can't even challenge because you don't have a foundation for truth.
I never told you I don't have an answer to the truth.
Okay, so give me the
Okay,
answer, please.
now, based on what you answer you gave me, can I ask you why you don't want to be questioned on that?
Because you haven't answered. I need your answer first.
You see, now you're like a kindergarten child. Like,
you
oh,
can-
you answer my question first?
Is that true?
Until then,
Is
I
that
can't
true?
answer
Is that
yours.
true?
What is true?
When you said I'm like a kindergarten child, is that true?
No, the behavior is like a
Okay,
kindergarten
my
child.
behavior is like a kindergarten child. Is that true?
Because of the conditions you're putting, unless you answer,
Is
I
it
won't
true?
answer.
Is it true?
What do you think?
No, I'm asking
Isn't
you.
that how you're
No,
behaving?
you make a claim. You made a claim that my behavior is like a kindergarten child.
Yes,
Whatever you call
yes,
it, yeah?
yes.
I'm asking you, is that true?
From based on how you have come across, yes, it is true.
It's true.
Yes.
What is truth then?
Okay. Truth for me is something.
For you, truth for you.
Oh my God.
Truth for you.
Let me know when you finish.
Okay, I apologize to everyone who's here. Please finish your sentence.
Okay. Because earlier you told me the reality is the truth. Whatever you perceive as reality is the truth. You didn't want me to question that because there's an obvious reason. Because I, as a believer in God Almighty, I believe in the angels, whom we know for sure we cannot see. I believe in God to start with. We know for sure God exists and He is the truth. But we cannot see Him. Yes? And this is what I'm telling you. That when you say truth, yes, there is certain things which are objective truth. For example, the shape of the earth. Yes, I know it's not flat. The earth is not flat. I know that the sun shines and gives us energy. That is the truth. That is the objective truth which you can see and test. There are certain things which you believe by blind faith. Yes, and that is called faith, like belief in the angels. Yes, belief in the afterlife, which we haven't seen. So when you're talking about religion, when you're talking about faith, there are things you need to accommodate based on faith alone. And when you talk about objective truths, these are things which you can perceive, which you can see, which you can test, which you cannot falsify. An important criteria in establishing the truth is something that you can not falsify that will be established as the truth. But for example, in the Quran, Allah gives a criteria that if this book is from anyone other than Allah, then surely you will find discrepancies in it. So this is one of the falsification tests. If you find a contradiction in the Quran, then that falsification test is something that will be established that yes, this cannot be from God because that's contradiction. Now, this is something that you will have to find. You can interrupt now, that's fine. I gave you my answer based on what the truth is. So there are things which are objective truths, which you can testify, which you can see, which you can observe, and which you can establish. Shape of the earth, the grass is green, the sun gives us light and energy. These things you and I both believe are the truth. Good.
I agree. Okay?
Who would be the arbiter of the contradiction? You found the contradiction.
Who will be the arbitrator?
Who would be the arbiter?
You as a human being, when you see a clear contradiction, then you point it out and you tell us this is a contradiction. Now wait a minute. If I'm unable to tell you or provide you a reason as to that is a contradiction, I don't have an answer to that, then yes, you can claim that is a clear contradiction. However, if I tell you and explain to you beyond reasonable doubt that that is not a contradiction, then you have to accept it.
But you are aware, aren't you? You are aware that there are several very learned people,
Yeah,
right, that point out certain contradictions.
bring them on.
No, I'm saying that there are.
Okay.
They can make a claim. I'm not saying they don't make a claim.
But when I finish the point,
Yeah, fine, I've gone.
there are, you know that.
There are many people who claimed. I agree. I agree.
You know that there are many people that do make those claims, right? And so therefore, they're very learned people. Most people accept it that they're learned people, and most people accept that they have now established the contradiction, right?
Sorry, you're talking about the Quran or something
Yes,
else?
Quran, yeah.
So who is this people? Name me one.
Let me finish. You gotta, the key thing here, right, is that you let me finish. The
Fair
point
enough,
that
fair
I
enough.
make,
Go on.
right?
Yes.
So
I hope you know them.
No, there are these people that they claim, and they're learned people, and they claim that they've established contradiction, right? Now, this is why I asked you, who's the arbiter of that? Because that should be the end of it. We found a contradiction, right? But it's not the end of it, is it? Because you or some other person will come along and say, well, I disagree, so now I'm going to be the arbiter. And that's just the entire point I'm making.
You made a point about many learned people, and they say X, Y, and Z, and they show contradictions. Let me ask you this. If a professor who's very learned has got a PhD degree, and he says to you, yes, whom you claim to be your father is not your father, will you take his word for it? Even if he's learned. No, you will not. You will challenge him, won't you? You as a human being who has been living with your dad for such a long time, and your mother knows him, and your rest of him. You remember you said to listen? Yes? Shall we both have the same courtesy? Okay, good. Because you will not take the testimony of that person. Yes, you can have a PhD, you can have several doctorates, yet you will challenge him. Yes? My friend, I will do the same thing if he says my Quran has contradictions in it. And there are many learned scholars of Muslims and Islam who will challenge that claim as well. And it works both ways. If I make a claim about the Bible, yes, or about the Torah, then their scholars will obviously challenge me. And the same works with the Quran. So I do not see that as a fundamental criteria. Just because they are learned, I should accept what they say. Because claims can be made by anyone and everyone. But in order to establish that claim is true or false, coming to the truth again, yes, we have to look at what the actual Quran says and how the scholars respond to that. Yeah, go on. Say what you want.
Is that a yes or a no? Do you just agree with what I said or not?
No, you don't just agree. You challenge it.
No. What I just said previously.
I don't. I gave you an
agree with
example. Did you not understand my response? So if somebody says to you, your dad is not your real dad, will you just take that word for it?
10 minutes about that, but
No, but which part did you not understand?
I'll tell you because
Which part of that did you not understand?
listen,
No, but you're not listening. You said you didn't understand. Hi, Jordan. You're right.
I tried to explain, but you're not listening. No, that's something completely different. What we're talking about a minute ago, we're
Same
talking
thing.
about contradiction. I said I asked you who's the arbiter, and then you're asking me about something different.
My friend, wait. Why do we need an arbitrator? Why do we need that? Why? Tell me
It's
why.
all very complicated. Wait, just calm down for a second. You're getting very complicated.
I'm not.
I
I'm
just
making it
asked-
easy for you. You established this principle of having an arbitrator. Where did you get this from?
Look,
You're the one who said, who's going to be the arbitrator?
you know what you're doing now. You're just talking and not. You're just talking. And
No, but I did listen to you.
Rambling. You're rambling.
My friend, you're making so many allegations against me, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you said I spoke for 10 minutes, which I did not, but you did not even understand what I said.
Look, I just made a very simple point.
Which-
Very simple.
And so did I.
No, you
No?
actually didn't.
Okay, I'll tell you what. From what I said to you,
You're not listening,
no, wait. From
Be
what,
honest, you're not listening to
my
what I'm
friend,
saying, are you?
from what I told you, what did you understand? Let's see. Let's see if you were listening.
You were talking about if somebody claims to my father is my father, he might not be my father, and all that type of stuff.
What did you understand from that message?
Wait, let me say. That had nothing to do with what we were talking about
That's-
prior to that, and let me explain to you.
No, that
why.
shows you were not listening.
Because you claim to be an atheist.
I don't claim to be anything. I'm not anything.
So you claim to not know anything.
Huh?
Do you claim to not know anything?
Oh, I know lots of things.
What do you know?
Huh?
What do you know?
If I was going to claim to be anything,
is there a God?
well, I tell you, if I was going to claim to be anything, I would claim to be an agnostic. If I was going to claim to be anything, because I would claim that nothing can be known about the existence of what we call God. But that's getting away from what we were just talking about.
So yeah, actually, this is getting away from what we
Yeah,
were.
exactly.
I'll leave you to it because obviously.
No,
I
that's-
would love you to participate. Actually, as an agnostic, I would love you to
No,
participate.
it's just look. It's just
Basically, we're asking. What truth?
Can I just before I go, and I'm going to tip off. I'm just going to reiterate that very simple point that you all seem to have complicated. Very simple point. I was just simply asking, who would be the arbiter of that question, right?
You, I've already answered that
I
question.
would
You,
be- I
yes,
would be
you.
the arbiter.
You will establish whether the contradiction that you claim was a contradiction or somebody else claimed to be
I
contradiction.
would be the arbiter. Would you understand what the meaning of arbiter? 'Cause if
You
I-
haven't
if
let
I'm
me
the-
finish, my
if
friend.
I'm the
You're
arbiter-
doing the same
if I'm
thing.
the arbiter-
You're doing the
no,
same thing
no,
which
I
you're
was-
claiming.
No, I was talking to you. You were cutting across.
I didn't even finish the
If I
answer.
was the arbiter, if you said I'm the arbiter, and I said, well, there's contradiction in the Quran, you'd accept it, would you?
No, I will not. I
Then-
challenge
then
it.
I'm not the arbiter.
I've already
am I?
told you.
No, but you see that. If you give me the power to be the arbiter, which you just did, and I say that there's a contradiction in the Quran, and then I ask you,
I
would you
think-
accept it, and you say no, then there.
I think you have missed the point when I said you'll be the arbitrator.
You're not listening to what
That's
I
fine.
said.
Goodbye.
So
Goodbye. Take care. Okay. You see what I mean? I think he came last week as well. Well, he just wants to argue for the sake of argument. Okay. Anyway, where were we? About the truth. Yeah. So I've given you a long answer to what I believe is the truth, objective truth, and the relative truth. I've defined the both. I've given you examples, but you just want to not accept it for some reason.
Now let me just.
That's fine. You have the.
No.
Yes.
Stay, please.
I'll listen to
I
this,
still.
brother.
Are you leaving already?
No.
Okay.
Don't stay, please stay. Because this is very important.
Okay. Which part of what I said you do not agree
No,
with?
no, it's not about my agreement.
Then what is it then?
It's not about my agreement.
Okay.
It's just the fact that you didn't answer the question.
I did.
The question you didn't.
Not to your satisfaction,
Is
perhaps.
that true?
Perhaps not to your satisfaction,
that-
but I did answer your question.
My question is, what is truth?
I've already answered that.
No, you haven't.
Okay.
You told me,
What did I tell you? Go on.
What you told me, at least from what I remember after all this.
Yeah,
long thing-
summarize it. Go on.
Yeah, from what I remember, you told me about the belief in the angels and the God, and you told me about there was something else.
The sun.
You told me
The
about
flat
a couple
earth.
of beliefs. Yeah, flat earth,
Yes.
sun, and all that stuff. Yeah, I heard you.
Which part of you do you disagree with? From what I
Because-
said.
No, it's not about disagreement or agreement. It's just the fact that that's not an answer to
Yeah.
what the definition of truth is.
Okay.
Okay.
When you say the truth,
Yeah.
do you mean objective truth
No, I'm-
or relative truth?
I'm asking you what truth
Because you know
is.
there's different type of truth.
Well, that's what you say. But
Do you not say that?
Before you say that, when you make a claim there is different types of truth,
Yeah.
you have to know what the last word means.
The last word, truth.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
You told me
you
the
have
reality,
you
isn't
have
it?
to know what truth is for you to be able to know that there are different types of truth.
Okay.
correct?
Maybe my answer did not satisfy you. Okay. Your answer, the one that you gave me, did not satisfy me.
That's fine.
That's
I want
fine.
to know what it's
But then I wanted to question you on that, but you didn't let me.
But before you question, you have to have a
I've given
foundation
look,
for truth.
my friend. You have given me your answer. I've given you my
No, you
answer.
haven't. That's the point.
Now shall we proceed?
No, you haven't given me your answer.
I have,
What
but
is
you didn't
truth?
like it.
Okay, give me again quickly. What's truth?
What's truth?
Yes.
There is relative truth and there is objective truth. The relative truth is something that we perceive as the truth. Like for example, take the color of the sky. Yes? We perceive the sky's color as being perhaps sky blue. But we know for a fact from a scientific perspective, it is because of the dispersion of the light in the spectrum of this.
My friend, unfortunately, you're not giving me an answer.
But I am, but the thing is you don't like it. You know, you told me what is reality. I asked you a question which you didn't want to answer. Do you believe that the angels are real?
I can answer your questions.
No, you're not.
After,
Look, I've given you my answer. There's nothing I can
So
add to
that's
that.
all you have?
Yes, that's all I have.
Okay, that's
Yes. Now let's proceed.
No,
Shall we?
No.
Oh, you don't want to proceed now?
Let me explain why. Let me
Go on,
explain
why?
Because the thing is this: if you don't have a definition for truth, which you say you have, but clearly you haven't given me. What a definition for truth is, there is no point on discussing anything at all. Because if there's no truth, there is no knowledge, because the definition of knowledge pre-assumes truth. And if there's no knowledge, there's no point on debating anything to be true
Okay,
or not.
so
okay?
based on your
So that's what I'm saying.
based on your logic, if I cannot define something, it doesn't exist. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Then what are you saying?
I'm saying that you haven't given me an answer, okay?
To what? To the definition of truth?
I'm not saying truth doesn't exist.
No, but you said if there is no if you cannot define it, there is no truth. That's what you just said.
If you don't have a concept, even you don't have to give me a dictionary definition, but you need to have at least a concept of a definition
I gave you the concept,
of what
but
truth
you don't like
is.
it.
What you told me is about objective and
Read
relative
it to
truth,
him.
yeah?
Read it to him.
The truth. The quality of state or state of it. Let me go
The
to
things you're saying.
Oxford Dictionary. I will read it. I haven't read it, by the way. I haven't read it. But
It's a
the
small
thing is-
definition. Just read it.
Yeah, but before I read it,
Yes.
let's remember one thing. That in a secular world, we live in a relativistic society.
Say again.
Relativistic society.
Oh, I see.
Where a lot of people believe that truth is relative.
Which
Truth.
is what I told you.
No, no.
Thank you.
No.
Carry on.
No. You told me some truth is relative.
Of course, some
I'm
truth is
saying
relative.
people
Yes.
nowadays, secular people,
Yes.
believe that all truth is relative.
Really?
Yes. I can bring you secular people who discuss
So,
that.
so wait a
I had
minute.
that discussion
So,
2 days
so wait,
ago.
wait. You will bring a secular person who tells me a triangle doesn't have 3 sides.
I understand that it's not logical, and we agree on that because we
So
believe
why are you
in God.
discussing illogical stuff?
I'm saying
Let's stick to logic.
the
Let's stick to
society that we live
rationality.
in- The society that we live in believes in relativism. Okay, that all truth is relative. And
I don't think anyone says all truth
That's
is
fine.
relative.
That's fine. I can bring someone and then we'll
Or maybe there are people like
Okay,
that,
I'll read
but it
it.
doesn't mean the whole of society.
in general.
Yes, so why are you bringing
Western
exceptions? What you're telling me is an exception. Exceptions do not make a rule.
No. I'm saying the rule.
My friend, can you just read the definition from the dictionary?
Yes. I'm just saying exceptions do not make the rule.
Yes.
But I'm talking about a general sense. I'll read the definition
But
now.
general sense,
Yeah.
You're reading.
I don't think in the general sense you can say that generally people say all truth is relative.
Can you make any generalization at all?
You can, yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm doing.
But not for this.
We
Let's
disagree
stick to
on
what
that.
we are discussing.
Which definition you're reading?
I'm read with you, man. The
No, no.
quality of
No. Let's go to the other definition. The
What
previous, the first one.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know where this is from. I'm
This
going
is
to
the
Oxford Dictionary.
this is the proper one.
How do you know that's
It
the
give you
proper
the noun.
Wait, you changed it already.
Yeah.
This here,
Yes.
it just comes from Google, yeah?
Google, yes.
I went to the Oxford Dictionary, which was the first one that popped up.
Okay, fair enough. Read the Oxford Dictionary, doesn't matter.
Just because I don't know where the other one comes
Okay.
from. The quality of state or state of being true. Okay?
Quality.
The quality or state of being true. It doesn't really give you much on that one.
Did you look for truth or true?
Truth.
No, don't look for truth. Look for true, the definition of
No.
the term true.
No, let's carry on reading.
Yeah.
That which is true or in accordance with facts or reality. There you go. That's what I said.
Facts or reality.
Yes.
But facts and reality, just like you said, in a secular world, these are relative.
Oh, so now you.
Yes, I'm using your own argument against you.
It's not an argument, man. It's not an argument.
Okay, definition against you.
All I'm
A
saying-
principle against you.
Please, let's be reasonable.
Miguel, you're contradicting yourself.
No, I'm
Have you
not.
realized that?
No, I'm not. All I'm
Look,
saying. One second.
This conversation is not going anywhere.
No,
I know.
The thing is, before you account for truth, it's definitely not going anywhere at all. Because there's no point in carrying on a conversation.
I think you have
if
made
don't
up
know,
this.
If you don't know,
We gave you the
anything
definition.
is true or not.
I think
So the
I think
definition
most
you came
people would
with-
know
the
that.
definition that you came with is the one that I gave. That I
No.
didn't challenge.
Let's do that.
Did I not give you the examples even about relative truth? Yes? Did I not give you
I
that?
didn't challenge that. I
No,
didn't challenge
but wait, you said that is not the answer.
that. An example.
And then you give me a
an
definition.
An example.
Wait,
is
wait.
not an answer.
Then you give me an example from the Oxford Dictionary about truth. Yes?
No, he gave you that.
No, you read it, isn't it?
No, but he
isn't
gave
that
it
from
to
the
us.
Oxford Dictionary?
Yeah, but
But
gave
he
it to
didn't
us.
write the Oxford Dictionary.
Okay, choose the other one then.
Yes?
Go ahead, read.
Now, Miguel, I asked you about angels. Would you say the angels are truth or not?
I have to know what truth is first.
You know it, I assume.
Yeah, but do you know?
I know based on my definition, you know based on your
Okay,
definition.
but when
so
you say you know-
Miguel, based on your definition, do you accept that the angels are true?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they are real.
Yes, of
How do you know this?
Okay, now, before I give you my epistemology, you have to give me mine.
You see, this is what you do every time.
No, it's
Whenever
not.
I ask him a question,
Which is exactly
I have
what
to somehow
Ashim,
justify
that's called
his
prejudice. That's called projection.
Do you
Because
not
are
understand my
doing-
question?
I asked you a question. Please allow
Are
me to finish.
are the angels real? And if they are real, tell me why.
You're not allowing me to finish.
I did let you finish.
Right now, can I speak?
Yes, go on.
Thanks. I asked you a question, and now what you're trying to do is flip it back to me, and plus you're telling me that I'm doing that to you. That's called projection.
No, it's
You're
not projection.
projecting
It's
what
not
you're doing
projection.
in myself.
All I'm-
Allow
it's
me
a
to finish.
simple question,
You're not letting
simple
me finish.
question.
You're not letting me finish.
I did let you finish.
You're not letting me finish. Can I finish?
Yes, go on.
Okay. I'm asking you, what is truth? All you gave me
There he goes
was
again. Back to the drawing board.
He gave me beliefs. He gave me examples. You gave me, there is relative truth and objective truth.
There is.
But when you say that there is objective truth, what is it? How do you know that that is true? How do you know that's true, that objective truth exists? For you to know that, you have to know what truth is.
You know what,
first.
Miguel? You really have to calm down. Just calm down, and you have to accept sometimes. Listen, even though the answer might not satisfy you, you have to acknowledge that once a person has told you that is his definition, then you should actually carry on. Wait. You are hung up about this word truth, and unless and until I answer to your satisfaction, you don't want to move on. Am I
I
right?
just want a definition.
No, but am I right? Until I answer to your satisfaction, you will not move on.
Is that true?
That's a question to you.
No, I'm asking you, is that true? What you said?
It's a question, for God's sake.
Is it true that you're making a question?
It's not a statement, it's a question.
Is that true?
What's wrong with this guy?
Is
That's
it-
what I
is
told
what-
him.
Do
I
you know
told
what
him
truth-
that
do you know what
there's a
truth is,
relative
Abraham?
truth
You know
and
what
an
truth-
objective truth. Miguel, calm down.
Bro, postpone
Calm
this.
down. Okay,
Postpone this.
so can you answer? I don't think it's worth.
Objective is that is green. What kind of green is it? Light green, dark green. It's objective truth. The truth is it's green. The objective truth is the shade of green. Easy.
That's an example. I'm asking you the definition.
I just gave you an example.
A definition.
The definition of what? Of truth. Of what is truth?
Yeah.
Truth is the opposite of false.
Not worth continuing this, is it? Okay, Miguel, listen. I don't think you want to carry on the conversation until
you give me a definition of truth.
yeah, until I gave a definition based on your satisfaction.
No. It
So,
just has to be.
so will any answer from me satisfy you?
No, you can have an answer. You can have a definition that I disagree with. You can have. I will allow that.
No, you don't.
For example.
You don't.
For example.
That's the thing.
I'll give you an example.
Yes, go on.
When I speak to an atheist,
Yeah.
and although apparently you disagree, most atheists will give me that truth is different from, is whatever we accept, for example.
Whatever we accept.
Yes, we accept it as true.
That's subjective.
That's what? That's subjective. Exactly. So I challenge that.
So the
because I
peop-
say, wait 1 second,
Yeah.
allow me to, I need to build this up, yeah? So I would challenge an atheist when he says that truth is whatever I accept or whatever you accept. He'll say, okay, it's truth for you and this is truth for me.
That's a
And you
belief.
say, exactly. That's
So a belief is truth for
I
you.
know, no.
Wow.
I'm
So if-
saying,
so if
I'm
somebody
saying-
believes in a unicorn,
listen,
that is the truth.
Exactly. That's ridiculous, isn't it? So that's what I'm saying.
That's what you're appealing to.
No. I'm saying that's what the atheist will say. Okay?
What would you say?
I will say that it's whatever is real. But 1 second. When the atheist says that, I disagree with his definition of truth, but I allow it as a definition and I expose the folly, as you are doing, the foolishness of what he's saying, as you are doing right now.
So if the atheist tells you
Now, allow
that
me to
your
speak.
reality
I'll let you
is
speak.
not true,
I'll
then
let you
what?
speak. I'll let you speak.
Yeah, go on.
So when he gives me a definition that I disagree with, I challenge it. Okay, I challenge it, but I allow it as a definition. I'm saying is that you surprisingly
Yeah.
have not given me a
have,
definition.
not
and,
to your
and wait,
satisfaction.
and when I've given you mine, you apparently challenge it. You don't agree with it.
And you don't want me to challenge it.
Do you agree
Because
with
you know that what you consider as the truth based on your principles
Listen.
will actually fall apart as soon as you answer my question.
true? Is
Yes, that is true.
Okay, now what's
Now,
true?
wait. You know, you'll find out if it's true once you answer my question.
No, the
But
thing
you,
is this.
the reason
You
you're
made a
reluctant,
claim.
wait. Miguel,
I'll let
the
you.
reason you're reluctant to answer my question is because you know it goes against your principle. Because as soon as, look, you told me that truth is something that is real. My next question obviously is, do you believe in the angels and are they real? But you didn't want to answer that question.
I actually answered.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Okay, what was your answer?
I said
Remind me.
yes, and then you asked me how do I
Wait.
know.
Yeah, obviously, when you say yes, you need to explain it. You don't just say yes.
Okay, so when you say that you know what truth is, you need to answer it.
I
What
did.
is it? What is it?
I did.
What is it?
It is something that because you know, for me, the truth is something I accept as being factual.
So that's what the atheists say. You just mocked it.
Let me
I'm not doing
finish.
it.
Let me finish. I didn't mock it.
I'm sorry,
I didn't
please carry on.
mock it. Remember, I said it is your belief. So your belief is something that makes rational sense to you.
Okay.
Yes,
I
that
would
is
agree.
that is something logical, perhaps, and
For
that
you.
is that is what you believe.
For you.
Now for me to accept that from you is perfectly all right. However, I will question. I have the right to question what you perceive as being logical and rational and reasonable.
That is fine.
Okay, but the thing is, you won't allow me that.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Now, we could even discuss what belief is and what knowledge is, but both of them presuppose a definition of truth. Because the definition of belief, and we can look it up if you want, wherever you want, is acceptance of something as true, with or without proof. Okay? Whatever you accept as true
Yeah.
is your belief.
I
Right?
said that already. didn't I?
Yeah, we agree on that. Now, the problem is that definition presupposes a certain definition of what truth is, and you're not giving me that.
I have.
What is it?
I told you it is something that you believe to be factual, and this belief
So
is.
truth is whatever I believe.
Oh my God! Let me finish the statement.
Finish.
Yes,
I let you finish and you didn't say anything else.
I did. I'm repeating myself now because
Okay,
you're
say
not
it again.
listening.
Say it again.
Somehow you're stuck with this some sort of definition because all you told me in your response to what is truth is that it is the reality. It is something that is real.
I want to know yours.
Yes, isn't that what you told me?
I want to know yours.
No, but isn't that? I'm just confirming. Isn't that what you told me?
For me,
Yes.
truth is whatever's real.
Yeah, whatever is real. But you see, even this, what if I ask you the definition of what is real, we come back to the same thing again, which is
you challenge
what you perceive to be real.
But before you challenge it, when you're challenging it, you're making a claim against it, or even a question.
No, I question
Or
it.
even a question.
I
okay?
question it. Of course I
understand.
question it.
I understand.
Yes.
I understand, okay? And I can answer that further. But before I answer it, I need you to give me what your truth is, what you mean by
I gave you
truth.
so many times the answer.
Because even if
But
I answer-
somehow it isn't set in
You
because
haven't. All
you
you're
have got.
giving me, all you're giving me when
Yeah.
I asked you twice right now in the past 2 minutes.
What did I
is
say?
truth?
Let's see if you
And you
remember.
said, yeah. And you said truth is whatever I believe that is factual, and then I interrupted him both times, and you said let me finish, and you haven't said anything else past that.
No, because
So I'm
the reason-
asking- okay, so now I'm going to allow you to carry on.
Yeah.
Truth is whatever you believe that's factual.
And it's something that is rational, logical, and reasonable to you.
To you, so
Of
it's
course.
subjective. Subjective.
Hold on. I can say the same thing with your definition.
Please answer
But the
my
reason,
question.
no. Now you answer my question. I'll use your game.
You haven't answered.
Because you're playing a game here.
You haven't
You're
answered.
saying,
It's no game.
you know what you did? Every time I tried to ask you, you said you first. Did you not say that?
You haven't answered.
I have. So what do you think I just gave you?
First of all,
What did I give you just now?
First of all,
Blank words?
First of all, interestingly enough,
I think this is getting very boring.
yeah, if
You somehow are a person who don't want to proceed with this conversation.
I've told you why.
You're stuck in this.
you-
You're stuck in this some sort of I don't know, echo chamber here, that you only believe and understand and perceive that unless and until I give an answer to your satisfaction, you don't want to proceed. You know, I've answered your question so many times now that if you watch this video, you will realize I told you the truth is something factual that you, of course, it is for you. Because at the end of the day, my truth might not be something truth to you. And that is the reason earlier I separated the objective truth from the subjective one. Because you and I both will agree that the earth is not flat. Yes? That is a fact. Do you agree? And that is a factual truth, objective truth we both can agree upon. However, you believe that God can become a man and he can die by his own creation. Now that is your truth, but I don't believe that truth. Okay? So Miguel, what you're telling me about your definition is definitely subjective, whether you like it or not.
so I'm gonna try a last
And if you're not
time,
going to
okay?
proceed anymore,
I'm gonna try last
yeah, that's
time.
fine. I hope you try last time,
Yeah, last
and then we can proceed or we end the discussion.
Yeah.
Good.
So we agree on that right now, yeah?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay, so the question
That's his
was...
way out.
Yeah, it's my way out.
The escape clause.
You're a funny guy, man. You're a funny guy.
Go on.
So how are you doing, man? Long time. So
Yeah, go on.
I'm asking you again, okay?
No, don't ask. Answer.
No, one second.
It's your time to answer now, not to ask questions. You ask enough questions. Your time to answer about what is truth.
Last time,
Let's see if we can do that.
I'm gonna see if I got what you're saying, yeah? And if I missed it, there's no point carrying on, yeah?
Go on.
So, I asked you what is truth, what the definition is, and you told me twice, you started by saying, truth is whatever I believe that is factual, and in both times I interrupted, I apologize, yeah? And so I'll let you carry on the third time, and you said, is whatever is reasonable or rational to me. And then I asked you, so is truth subjective? Because when you say that it's what you believe that's factual, reasonable, whatever to you, that means that it's just to you, it's subjective, right? So are you saying that truth, by definition, is subjective? And if you are, then there is no such thing as objective truth.
I think either you're not listening or you're not understanding.
Okay, please clarify last time.
Yes.
Last time.
Did I not tell you
Yeah.
about the flat earth?
Yeah,
Did I not tell you about the shape of the
you
earth?
told me you believe that.
Did I not say that you and I will agree with this objective
Does it
truth?
make it true?
Wait a minute, Miguel. Did I not tell you all this?
Yeah,
So why did you only listen to the subjective part
Does it
and you
make it true?
completely somehow ignored the objective truth that I told you about?
Does it make
And
it
not
true?
once, not twice. I told you at least on three occasions within this discussion. But somehow you only caught the subjective
If
part.
we all here believe in something,
Okay, let me ask you
together,
once again.
no. If we all here
Why
believe,
shouting? Why shouting? Calm
if
down.
we- because you shout.
No, I didn't.
louder,
No, I did
louder,
not.
so
I
it needs to be
said,
loud.
I repeated myself.
If
That's
we
all I
here-
did. I
okay,
didn't shout.
Okay, please allow me to finish.
Yeah,
and
go on.
I'll reduce it. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. If we all here believe in something, yeah.
Yeah.
Does it make it true?
It depends what you're talking about.
So, let's say we believe all here, yeah, that there is a, I don't know, man, there is a hippo flying on the sky, yeah, a hippo, yeah. Because we all agree with it, does it make it true?
Did we see it?
If we claim that we see it,
No, did we see it? That's the question, not claim.
but when you ask me that question,
You see what I mean?
no, when you ask me the
You
question,
want to get nitty-gritty about everything.
can you
Seriously?
Okay, so
Did we see it? Based on your example, based on your analogy, did we see a flying hippo? Yes or no?
answer mine first. I'll ask
I
you.
am, but I need to clarify the question.
My
you're
question
asking.
is, if we all agree on something, is it true?
No, you said you gave a specific example about a flying hippo.
Anything.
Okay, so if we
Anything.
all agree that there is a flying hippo, and we all saw a flying hippo, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Based on your analogy,
Yeah.
then yes, there is a flying hippo because we all saw
Okay,
it.
let me rephrase it then. Let me rephrase
Oh,
it
yes.
to make it more clear.
To make the bad
I
analogy good.
think you missed it.
Go
I
on.
think you missed
I did
it.
not, no.
If we all agree with something, yeah, does it make it true? Because we agree with it, does it make it true? Yes or no?
Depends again.
Yes or no?
No,
Yes or no?
I will not answer the way you want. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
you
Big
just
Well.
asked me that
Okay,
minute ago.
I'll give it based on his example, based on his principle. Listen to this. If we all agree that the shape of the earth is spherical, is that the truth?
No,
yes.
that's not the question.
But
no,
that's,
no, that's
that's
not
an
the
ex- using your principle.
No, that's not the question.
No?
The question is not if
What's
we all
that?
agree, is it true? Is if we
Yeah,
all
we
agree,
all agree that
no,
it's
no,
spherical.
If we all
Why not?
agree, does it make it true because we agree? That's the question. Answer.
Depends once again, it depends on what you're talking about. Because look, based on your I'm using your principle here. We all agree about something. And I need to know what that something is. Is that something a subjective truth and an objective truth? If we all agree, let's say we all agree here that there is a God. Yes? Does it make it true? Yes? An atheist will tell you no.
No, what do you
And
tell? What
wait,
do you
wait.
say?
I'm saying it's subjective. So it's not me or you. Like you said, answer based on what everyone, not just me. So I'm using your own principle against you, which you don't even realize.
What's my
Sorry.
principle?
Your principle is that it has to somehow correspond and corroborate with everyone's understanding.
Okay,
And I'm using
right
the same
now,
thing.
Right now, sorry, did you finish?
Yeah, go on, go
Okay,
on.
right now-
Sorry, I shouted there. I didn't
Yeah,
mean to.
that's-
It's
that's all right.
passionate.
That's all right, man. That's
Yeah,
all-
go
I
on.
do the same. It's okay.
Yes.
So, right now, I said my claim, okay? When he asked me, he says I have an answer. I have an answer. I've only given him one answer. I say that truth is whatever's real. No matter,
To whom?
No matter
To
what-
whom?
No matter the beliefs.
Nobody
No matter
does.
the beliefs.
It does.
It doesn't matter if I believe in anything. It doesn't matter if I believe that Jesus is God, which I do. That doesn't make it true. Okay, because I believe in it. Because there is a certain reality that doesn't care if I believe in it or not. That's what I'm saying. He challenged it, so I'm asking him, okay, what's truth? Sorry? Okay, but evidence. One at a time. Evidence presupposes truth.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so basically you're telling me that if there is evidence of something, and you see you're somehow agreeing with me because I told you about logical, rational, reasonable, all this constitutes evidence, obviously.
I'm not saying I don't agree.
Now wait. You told me if something is real, then that is the truth. Am I right?
Yes.
But when I asked you, real to whom, you didn't want to answer that question.
I did answer that.
So real to whom?
I said whatever conforms to the mind of God how God,
Mind of God.
Allow
Oh
me
my
to, allow me
God.
to, allow me to finish. Whatever God, who is the ultimate being, objective being, he's the only one who perceives reality perfectly. So he can't be according to us, he has to be according to God. Now, you disagree. I don't know how. You're a Muslim and you disagree. I don't know how.
I never
But
disagreed with that.
You
No, I
have,
never,
you
no, no.
challenge that. That's fine.
I challenge you.
Allow me to finish. I'll let you speak. I'll let you speak.
When did I disagree? You're
I'll
lying.
let you speak.
When did I
you
disagree?
You challenge my claim. You challenge my claim.
I never said that. I said
So I'm
disagreement.
asking, based on your definition of truth, okay, that apparently is subjective. If we
No.
all agree that something is true, does that make it true? Yes or no? It's a yes or no
No,
question.
no, no. It's not a yes or no. It depends on what you're talking about. Because if something that we all agree upon is the truth, yes, it depends on what you're talking about. It can be either objective or it can be subjective. I think we are just going round in circles here. Because when you said the mind of God is what constitutes the reality, and you earlier said you don't know the mind of God. So you're
I didn't say that.
so you do know the mind of God?
I didn't say that.
But do you know the mind of God?
I'll answer.
Yes, go on.
Can I?
Yes or no?
I know.
Yes or no? You don't like that, do you? No? Of course not.
I know. Whatever God has revealed to us, I can know that about His mind or about His knowledge. Whatever He has revealed to us. And I think you as a Muslim would agree with that as well.
But that is a circular
Whatever-
argument.
Hang on. It is, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that. Listen, you have to understand. No, you have to understand one thing. Every ultimate authority claim is a circular claim. Every ultimate authority claim. Okay? Whatever you use ultimately to distinguish if something is true or false, you have to appeal to itself to prove that it's true or false. Right? Because
If you're appealing to authority, you're appealing to
authority.
authority.
Ultimate authority.
And in this case, you're appealing to authority. God as the authority.
Right now.
Good.
Right now.
No, actually, Miguel, I like that. I like that.
I know,
If
but-
that is how, look, I don't know why you went into this line of questioning when I told you at the very beginning that we both believe in God. And I wanted to actually carry on from that. But you somehow, maybe you're used to practicing this kind of argument with the atheists, so you brought into that.
No, not at all.
Okay, let me ask you this. If God in the scripture, in the revelation, tells you that, wait, listen, this is very important to our conversation. If God in the revelation tells you that He is immortal, can He die?
Sorry?
If God in the revelation tells you He is immortal, can God die?
Listen, I am not going to answer any
Of course
your-
you're not, because you'll fail.
I'm not going to...
Anyway, listen, it's time for me to go to pray. But if you want to continue, we can continue after the prayers. But I want you to think about this. If you're going to make God as your authority, I'm going. If you make God as the authority in understanding the truth, then you have to be consistent in that principle.
And appeal to Him.
Yeah, of course. In the Bible, in 1 Timothy 6:16, God says that He's immortal. You believe God died for your sins on the cross to pay for your sins because you believe Jesus is God.
I'm a Christian.
Yes, of course you're a Christian.
Yes,
I've spoken to you before. So you believe Jesus is God, and you believe He died. That contradicts 1 Timothy 6:16,
Okay, is that
which
true?
says, well, based on your Bible, yes, I believe God is immortal. Yes, I agree.
No, is it
and that
true?
is the truth. Yes.
No, is it true that it contradicts the Bible?
Yes, it does.
Okay, what is truth then?
I have to go to pray. We'll come back to that.
Go, then we'll go.
By the way, we already established the truth as believers is what is mentioned in the Revelation.
No.
You said it yourself.
No.
The mind of God.
No.
Because
One second.
yeah, we got to go.
Last thing.
No, we have to go.
يا ديمة خير وعطاء ويمام نقاء وسخاء يا نجما شع فأبهجنا يا شعلة نور وضاء يا ديمة خير وعطاء ويمام نقاء